Here's some examples. This was a team of teachers who they'd worked out they wanted a big focus on counting for the, what were they, the 1-2s, must have been at the start of the year. And the teachers themselves, with all their knowledge and with the progression points, they wrote this test, and they began from virtually just, you know, what are the 5 critical things we want the kids to know in counting, and they get progressively harder as you go along. And they created this little test themselves that they gave the kids first lesson, took it away, and they were able to do the rest of their fortnight or 3 weeks, and then at the end of it they could give the kids the same test. Simple. This gorgeous one they did on, what's that, subtraction. Some of it they cut up, you know, maths textbooks somewhere or other and got a couple of questions. They wanted to see if kids could do the pictures. They wanted to see if they could do the algorithms. You know this stuff, you know, single digit subtraction, over 10 kind of subtraction, you know, look up the progression points and see what's the stuff. And so the kids start off at the front of the train and they just keep going until they conk out, and then you just take the page off them and that's it. And you know, quick and dirty what the kids are actually able to do. And they wanted a number, that's right, this mob were into the stuff about worded problems too, so their tests you'll see down the bottom's got a worded problem, write a number sentence about da-da-da-da-da-da. See how gorgeous with the little train, it's beautiful. Little fire engine. These kids, what does it say? Climb the fireman's ladder as far as you can. So the kids start at the bottom. So what did you say? Yeah, that's right, whatever it takes, yeah. So, you know, they start down at the bottom and you just keep going until you conk out. And when you can't do any more, especially if you've built into the kids that this like covers the whole gamut here. We're just checking to see how high you can go up that ladder, and there's a worded problem in there again. I think this must be a higher grade, 3-4, yeah, 3-4. And again, they've started off simple, they've got to add and subtract in together, no carrying and then 3 digits. They wanted lots more word problems there. And there's some divisions with all the versions of division, how much will be left over, as well as, how much for each person, as well as how many groups when you divide the thing that way. Okay, so I take you back to the fact that what those people were doing, first of all, they'd identified from their scope and sequence exactly what are we going to pluck out from there for our term 1 focus. Then what is it that we're hoping the kids will achieve by the end of the term? Let's create the pre and post test. And then they get on to this, and this is one of the schools. Yep.
So that testing is only pre and post. It wouldn't be after each concept within the term, or would it just be, what do you recommend?
I wouldn't test kids to death. If you were doing, they don't do all of those tests. If the kids are doing counting for the fortnight, that's...
Would you still test that concept at the end though? Like, would you collect assessment?
Yeah. That's right, they do. If they're doing counting for the fortnight, yeah, they do that test, and that test wouldn't take the whole of one lesson. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then you put it in at the end. Because particularly Patrick Griffin about, you know, here's your evidence.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And instead of getting it posted, you'll actually collect it as assessment, so you've got that.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Are you saying people paste the kids' tests in their book?
Not everywhere, but what I've seen in my practice is that not a lot of assessment has been, in some pockets there's a lot of assessment, some teachers do collect a lot, and in other pockets there's none, other than standardised testing.
Okay.
So sort of finding that nice balance and building it into the plan,
Yeah.
so everyone's on the same page and knows this is the actual evidence,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
is also going to drive my teaching as well.
Okay.
You know, we plan for the term, but depending on what you get back as evidence,
Yeah.
it's also going to change or drive that planning as well.
Absolutely, yep. Now, comments up the back. I can hear people. Tell me what you're saying. Tell us all.
Saying about the pre and post testing, how we're going to incorporate scope and sequence.
Yeah, well, we had that conversation before. I reckon the scope and sequence needs to be neat by itself. I reckon that the assessment stuff sits close to it, but I wouldn't dirty
No,
the
no,
scope and
rather
sequence
than
by.
everybody reinventing the wheel, like if, you know, like say you've got a pre and post test for number 1 to 10, say.
Yeah.
Right, you store that in
Oh,
you know,
with
file,
the yeah,
so,
yeah.
So that, you know, when
Nice.
another person's doing it,
They
don't
just
have
do
to
pull that out.
that
Yeah,
sheet
that's
later.
right. Yeah. Because I mean, it takes a bit of time and effort to put it together. When I say quick and dirty, it's quick because you use the combined knowledge of all the teachers that are sitting around the table, and you know you've got the VELS document, everything, and quick because quick to administer, so that you're not fluffing around doing like incredible. Oh, I've rubbed it off, but you know, having to do graphs and things about what can the kids do. You want to hit the ground running.
So another question that we all have coming out was when you do your post-assessment, do you
Yeah.
do it straight after, like just say you've done your unit work like two weeks and you finish Friday, do you give them the test on Monday when it's nice and fresh, or do you wait a week? And then see what they've
See if it
retained?
stayed with
Because
it.
what's happened in the past,
Yeah.
you would do it say pretty much straight away,
Yeah.
and say if the child did it,
Yeah.
in term 4 or whatever, you would say, oh, hang on, that kid's forgotten it.
Yeah.
And remember it because it's fresh in your head, you've tested it and got it. So what do you think about that?
What do I think about it? I'm thinking about the climbing the ladder thing. In that test could actually be used a few times over as the year goes by, and the kid will get higher and higher up the ladder. Yeah, that's right. What does everyone else think?
The concepts themselves build on each other
Yeah.
anyway, so
Mm.
you don't basically keep the same one and just keep adding new questions, because the next concepts that you plan for in term 2 shouldn't be that far removed from the
No,
concepts
it's
in
right.
term 1, because
Mm.
you started just getting
Mm.
same concepts.
And sometimes you want to know straight away whether you're even going to spend another week on it.
That's true too.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Now we've developed quick maths, so because we do quick maths every day, and that covers everything. So we try, even though you might have only focused in term 1, we still revisit it quickly.
Was that your warm up? In your warm up?
before
Yeah.
we actually get into
On
maths.
number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we still do a lot of that.
Yeah.
The discussion was, do you find a test that's great? Like no,
Yeah.
spelling
Yeah.
words. The kids know those spelling words because they've probably learned it the night before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, how often that happens. Will they know it? Yeah. Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, this is just off the top of my head, but if you've actually got if that's a fortnight worth of work, you know, that I'm going to be covering here, and then I've got maybe 4 or 5 of those during the term, it may be that at the end of the term, as a team, we make an amalgam of those tests and do them again. But your idea of keeping this information up in the kids' head with our warm-up every session is quite valid. You'll do that as well. You don't just teach stuff and let it fall out the back of their head and never come back again. So it may be that's the way to go. I mean, as a team, you'd have a think about that, what will work for us. Again, you don't want it to be like weighing the pig forever and ever. You know that saying about the pig never got heavier because people kept weighing it? You want it to be, you want the information to be readily accessible by the teacher and not so arduous for the kids to complete that, you know, takes more time doing the tests than it does to do the teaching involved. So that's probably what I'd do. I'd probably, particularly if my kids scored well on the pre-test, and that would have informed my teaching, that I didn't have to do it in as much depth, I would probably want to test them towards the end of the term on just a few strategic questions out of that. If the kids scored very badly, I'd do a lot of teaching. I'd probably want to pick a lot of those questions and put them on the end of the term one because they hadn't done very well at the start. Yeah, so, you know, everything requires flexibility, but the team talking together as a professional learning team about those kinds of things, rather than just doing stuff because it's written on a list somewhere, we have to just do that again. Anybody else got a comment?